NBS
Frontline live from the Political Command Center, and tonight we're discussing oil. When we went for a break, I was asking Honorable Mukitale whether the people in Bunyoro have started leaking the honey of the black gold. So listen, we thought you would help us. Give it to us, because Elly Ssekatawa from the Petroleum Authority thinks that we're really being pessimistic rather than being optimistic, especially that the final investments decision is just around the corner.
Ssekatawa is a manager and he has to speak. His scope is limited to a manager. But as leaders, we are supposed to look beyond the project as it is in the status quo. I think it's good that we are increasingly beginning to see the oil investment in this country as a regional project. Yeah. It was my argument 12 years ago. Why are we discussing Ugandan oil? The Rift Valley was given by God. The gas is in Tanzania. The gas is in Burundi. The Virunga is DRC. South Sudan has the oil. The Turkana had to get the, because it's a Rift Valley phenomenon. And therefore, thinking big in terms of a regional project would give us the economies of scale to have a bigger refinery, even to have a duo, a Lamu and a Tanga. It is possible. The moment you stop working within this small thing. Of course, the problem is those who first came here after the UPC 1985 law and the World Bank Aerial Survey were small companies. You know, oil is explored by small companies. But as you discover the oil, you now see the big guys coming in, the Totals and the Sinukus. The shells will come even now to show an interest today if one of them pulled out. Because now you have an intellectual property, you have discoveries. And these are the guys with the economic muscle, to the technology, the financial muscle to produce the oil. So it's good we congratulate the government and our partners to bring us this far. And that's why last time when they were saying they will run away, I was just laughing. Uganda could actually do an Angola, a strong state participation and produce the oil, because we have the numbers, we have seen everything. And any other company would come actually and pay more. But of course, that would give us a bad record with the players we have worked with for 20 years. So Uganda has conned us. But that beside, I want to emphasize a point that Uganda and East Africa will make much more jobs, more opportunities, more cross-generation equity from a refinery, from an international airport, from an industrial park, than a pipeline to the coast. However, the pipeline to the coast turns the fortune of this region. It makes us a hub. That, by having that pipeline either way, it makes us a hub. And that's when sometimes we fail to manage expectations. Because when you hear the debate about oil and gas, some of these jobs of welders and scaffolders is not perennial. If you have a good development phase, it's only 3 years. If you delay maximum 5 to 6 years, the mistake was made with earlier training, including Chigumba, was they were specific to oil and gas. I'm happy if you go to Chigumba today and other courses, it's not only specific to oil and gas. Can you make these young people, if oil is not there, they can work elsewhere? And that's why they could only get a job in Qatar and the oil-producing countries. So we need to look beyond the oil. And that's the point I was making earlier. Let's not just be oil. We aren't building, let's avoid the Dutch disease. For Uganda, our oil and gas policy is deliberate. We intend to diversify. We intend to transform. We intend to use the finite windfall of the oil resources in the non-oil, long-lasting economy. That is deliberate. And that's why I'm saying we are overstretching these oil heroes. These heroes have discovered the oil. Actually, now they are delving into gray areas they don't understand. A refinery is an industry. I would want to hear more of Ministry of Trade and Industry speaking about it. I want to hear more of Uganda manufacturers and private sector speaking about that industrial park. But to limit it to these geologists is unfortunate. Can we see more government departments? I use the word cross-pollination, but can we hear an intra-government talking? For example, you can't produce oil if you don't have water abstraction. The water abstraction, the docket, lies very far in the Ministry of Water. But this water is transboundary. You're going to get a permit from the Nile Basin. So we don't want conflict from Sudan, from Ethiopia, and from Egypt. So when we talk about an interagency, a multi-sectoral, an interministerial matrix, which I demanded on swearing in 2016, Minister of Energy has done it. I have the numbers. I know which minister has not done its part. I know which minister has not been given money. The water for abstraction, which is very critical and can become a security matter tomorrow. Dr. Kalist and his colleagues don't have the money. You go to security. I don't want to discuss, I'm a new member of Defense and Internal Affairs, but there is a lot we can do with recovery costs. Because in the last phase, we had private sector moving with a lot of vehicles in Ulisa, but my police had a DMC pickup. My army had an old lorry. And yet the private sector was giving a lot of money. The recoverable cost was being used. So the next phase, why can't Uganda Air Cargo, for example, get some 6 Antonovs and lift the air cargo? And we own, because we should not just look at recoverable cost because we want oil. There is what we call, in project management, what we call the terminal value, the scrap value. Uganda would be better off owning some domestic flights and some Antonovs for air cargo, even when the oil is gone. Uganda would be better, instead of the camps we have had for 20 years, which are, by the way, demolished immediately after the discovery. Why don't we have this infrastructure done by a government entity? You remain with barracks, police headquarters. They are still in Mama Ingia Pole, but you are demolishing houses because you looked only at oil. The question I want to emphasize here, can we do a kind of a quality management system audit of the process owners? What should the oil company do? What should the petroleum authority do? What should the other government ministries do? What will the private? We have not done that. There was an attempt to have land experts in energy, and we said it was wrong. I'm happy they have realized that there is a role to be played by Minister of Lands. There was an attempt to go into engineering and roads, to make roads. I'm happy they have realized UNRWA has to its part. That is the critical area. If we are going to operate within the 3 years timeline, let everybody have their core functions. Right now, these guys are going beyond their core function. Let me tell you, that database does not give us low content. I am a mathematician when I was a young boy. It does not matter as long as you have a wrong formula, even if they give you 3 hours. If you have a wrong formula, you fail it. Let us go back and have Ministry of Trade and Industry do their part, because we have people who should be doing on issues of standards, who should be doing their part. But to leave it to Petroleum Authority, we are overstretching them beyond their scope, beyond their mandate, beyond their process ownership. And let's just agree that there are 14 ministries in government who have a role to play to produce oil, not only National Oil Company, not only PAO, not only Minister of Energy.
Let me bring in Elly to weigh in. Dr. Elly, thank you so much for staying with us. You've been listening in from the team here. I thought you'd weigh in on Honorable Mukitale's submission, but also give us an update on the, where we are at with the refinery and the industrial park. It has been raised by the issue by the team here in studio.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank Honorable Mukitale for his submission, and also my land friend Elly Ssekatawa. I think I want to say that we have a lot of optimism. Yes. Honorable Komakesh, let's not get tribal. I know how Ugandans get so attracted to go tribal on anything. Just let's not go tribal. This is a very international product. All the considerations were very international. International companies were involved in assessing which is the route to take to the ocean, to the markets. We compared the Kenya route, Lamu route, and the Tanga route, and I was privy to most of those discussions. I think the most economic decision was taken in the interest of our country. Believe me, let's not get tribal on this one. Yes, let's hope so. Now, the second thing I want is to ask Ugandans, I know how politics is very attractive, and I know how big-headed we are, but we are using this moment to appeal to you to really take advantage of the opportunity in front of us. You know, Solomon is asking me to talk to you about the refinery and where we are with the industrial park. What Solomon also needs to know is that we have another industrial park, what we call the Central Processing Facility, up there in Bulisa. We have another central processing facility to manage the Kingfisher project down in the south. And these two will be processing the crude oil, removing the sand, removing the water, removing the gas, keeping the crude, pumping it about 250 kilometers within the internal pipes to bring everything to Kabale in Hoima, near the airport, for it to start its longest heated pipeline in the world to the Indian Ocean, to the markets. We want to keep 60,000 barrels of that per day feed it in the refinery. The studies, what they call feed studies, front-end engineering design, is being completed by an Italian company. Now, once this is done, we are hoping that the investors will have money to put up the refinery together with the government. If there are hitches, the government needs to arrest that quickly and make sure we move fast, because there is no point in pumping all the oil when it comes, when there is no refinery. It is important that we Ugandans really prepare ourselves to take advantage of this thing. I know you have a lot of time. I have seen, for example, how we are behaving in this. The Minister of Health, the President, the National Task Force on COVID-19 is asking us to put on a mask. I'm not putting on a mask because I'm at home. I've been given the privilege to do this from home. But we have refused to put on the mask. And now we have lost more than 61 people. And we are warned by November it will be very, very difficult for Uganda. 90 districts have received cases of COVID. They can no longer trace the contact. They no longer know where the COVID is now. The hospitals are going to be full. We cannot just simply do a small thing, put on a mask. But let there be politics. We run there. Let there be tribalism. We run there. Now we are asking you, please participate in this industry. It requires you. We have asked on the 29th and 30th of this month, next week, we are having the biggest e-conference ever seen in Africa on oil and gas. The Chamber of Mines is preparing this. His Excellency the President has agreed to address us. And the week after, he will address us again on mining. The head of Total is coming to address us, to appeal to us to participate in this opportunity. But we are more interested in rushing to politics, to tribalism, to think. Time has come for us to really improve on our unemployment for our young people, bring our women in line, take advantage of the God-given opportunities that are in front of us on the table. Our job is just to extend our hand and pick what is available for us. We are spending so much time on politics. In fact, during this time, I'm glad I resigned, I left politics, because this type of politics I'm looking at now, and people try to drag you in politics. Let's find more time to do these more tangible things. All this passion, all this anger, if it was being expressed, that energy was being expressed to prepare for us to take on the opportunity of oil and gas and mining and agriculture, what do you think would happen to our country? Imagine if that passion I see in politics, running around, people wanting to kill each other, crying, this is not the right time. It's doing the wrong thing at the right time. And the right time is this opportunity, is a new dawn of opportunity. This opportunity is happening for the first time in our lifetime. By the way, it will never happen again because this resource is finite. Secondly, the construction is only for 3 years. And after that, the next 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, oil will just be flowing. So let's take opportunity. This generation will never have this chance. No any other generation will be as lucky as this one. And that's why my brother Ssekatawa, my brother Ssekatawa, and my brothers, listeners, this is the time for us to be optimistic and to work together and attract foreign investment. Oil will bring other investments in tourism, in infrastructure, in other areas, which make Uganda a very attractive destination. You cannot imagine that at a time when the oil prices have fallen off the roof, Total has decided to invest in Uganda. We are the only province that is receiving investment in the whole world. You imagine that. So this is a chance for us. I appeal to you. I beg you. Attend the conference. We are expecting about 1,000 international people to attend the conference. How many Ugandans will attend that conference? And at every conference, on your telephone, watching on TV with NBS.
Dr. Elly, thank you.
But Ugandans, please, I know you will be busy looking for votes. But find time for this one. Please,
Dr. Elly, that was quite a passionate plea, which is why I gave you all the time.
Passionate. And when people ask me that I'm involved in politics, I just don't know why they are wasting my time.
Dr. Elly, that was quite a passionate plea to Ugandans to, get ready and prepare themselves to partake of and start in using your own words, leaking the honey from the black gold. Thank you very much, Dr. Elly Karuhanga, Council Chairperson of the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, for speaking with us on NBS Frontline. I'll give the frontliners, we have 2 minutes to close the show, under 30 seconds, way forward.
To thank you, to thank the listeners, I think to thank Dr. Elly for that carry-on call, and to say, like, Ugandans, this is our time. This is a generational gift. I think we don't have an excuse. It has come to us 50 years, 60 years after our brothers, Nigerians, Angolans, discovered theirs. We have what to learn from. We have the mistakes to avoid. We know them. And let's all come with a positive mind. Where there is a mistake, it's okay, we can correct it. But we have come before anything happens, and therefore it is good for everyone to come now at this time, as Elly said, not after construction. And we all see what we can do for this product.
Thanks, Ali. Thank you. Leandro.
Yes, please. Mine is simple. I need to correct some of the misconception Elly raised.
Yeah.
One is that my politics is knowledge-driven. I'm not sentimental. I raise these issues because there are questions being asked, and we need people to answer them, And that is why we needed Ssekatawa to do a lot of footwork to ensure that those who are raising some of these questions that we amplified here get satisfied on some of these issues that is not clear. So I think, Elly, you feel good. I'm not a dangerous man who is old-fashioned in terms of politics of tribal sentiments. So I think all in all is that we need Ugandans as stakeholders in this oil sector to understand where we are and where we are going so that we all move together as a country. I think it's very important.
Conclusion.
But of course, if we don't balance the politics well, we can lose the investment. I just need to remind my senior colleague, Honorable Elly Karuhanga, we need to balance the politics well in order to keep the investment, to attract better investors into Uganda. Of course, on the government side, we really need to be decisive, firm, and consistent in making decisions quickly. If we zigzag with the decision making like we have done in the last 14 years, we could as well again lose the investment, lose the opportunity, and Uganda will be similar to the other oil-producing countries or countries that have oil, but they haven't benefited.
Thanks, all. Thank you for your submission. Honorable Mukitale.
Yeah, it is possible to avoid the oil curse and the Dutch disease. I've seen Nibulis at the beginning where we almost became landless, but now government is beginning to compensate our own. I want to appeal to the Prime Minister and the finance working with National Planning Authority to make sure that every government agency does its part, and more so, for the 3 years, can we do the counterpart funding of government? Because the oil company in their contractual obligation already have the money, and whenever we don't have the money, they will charge us for whatever we don't do. Can we try as much as possible, optimize and focus resources to make sure that we operate within a time? Because when we don't, for the last 12 years, we have private sector, including their financiers, who have burst because they expected to deliver 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and they did not, and they were calling for bailout. So I think this time, FID must be for real. The timeliness must be for real, because if we don't, so many citizens have suffered because they invested in equipment and business never came. So this time we should make it for real.
But most importantly, the investors, the big boys who have been putting a lot of money, the delay in the final investments decision has really affected them because, I mean...
And that's the economy.
And that's
the economy. So we need to protect those people. But for the host community, we are looking forward that we are also put part of agenda, because in the early phase, we missed out on the training, we missed out on the jobs, and we hope they will change their act. Otherwise, we shall not be happy.
We actually thought you have the jobs. Honorable Mukitale, thank you very much. Honorable Mukitale Adiel is Member of Parliament for Bulisa constituency. We thought you were the one leaking the honey. Thank you very much for being part of the show.
No single invoice, no single check.
Honorable Fono Pondo, Frontline, thank you so much.
I lost my flag because of that.
Member of Parliament for Gulu, thank you very much. And of course, Elly Ssekatawa, Director, Legal and Corporate Affairs, Uganda Petroleum Authority. Thank you so much. My name is Solomon Seranja from all the production crew. It's a good night.